guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about plotting, and we're going to be talking about plotting in detail. So this is really for people who have already got the overarching structure and the premise of their book already firmly settled in their mind. They know the kind of ideas that they want to explore with their novel or their project. And now we're interested in getting some more intriguing scenes, some specific plot twists, some full-flavoured characters. And this process is a lot of fun. It can be a lot of work. In fact, it probably will be a lot of work, but it can be a lot of fun, and there are a few things to bear in mind. So, let's do this! Okay, so plotting. So my first big tip when it comes to plotting is to do your character planning in conjunction at the same time as you're writing your plot. This is because you want your characters' personalities to line up with the decisions they make that drive the plot forwards. After all, it's conversations between characters, the ideas had, the things suggested that will drive your plot forwards, cause tension, and get readers to really engage with your book. If your character starts behaving outside of their personality, your reader will recognise that, and the problem is it puts up a big barrier between them and the book. The believability of the book and the fluidity of the book is damaged. It gives them a kick to disengage, which is the last thing that you want your reader to have or experience whilst reading your project. So as you start plotting, start designing your characters as well. I should hope that you've got a starting point, a starting idea, a scene that you think is intriguing to work from. And then once you've got that scene or that starting point, think about your main character and develop your main character fully, flesh out their personality and who they are. It's even more important to really understand your main character when you're working in first person, because you've got to understand their thought processes, their decision making and their emotions, all of the sensory things that someone in first person would feel and think. Once you've got your starting point in your main character, if you're struggling with other characters, you can maybe work that in later once you know more about the plot. But then think about, once your starting point, your main character, and what's the first problem they have to tackle? What is the life-changing event that they're about to go through? What is going to kick off this story and make it interesting? What's going to disrupt the status quo of the book? What changes? And then as you go through the book and identify characters and their role in the story, you should definitely flesh out and develop their characters. If the character personalities don't line up with the book, I would recommend changing the course of the book rather than characters' personalities, simply because getting a believable fleshed out character, in my personal opinion, is a lot harder than changing plots. However, you should definitely do what feels right to your book. Now, you may be stuck coming up with intriguing scenes or sub-arcs or actions for your characters to take. On the subject of sub-arcs, I believe that as you go through your plot, sub-arcs will make themselves apparent, because your characters are bound to interact and have personal arcs, even if they're not romantic arcs. And if you're struggling to come up with sub-arcs, I'll do a whole separate video on that, and how you can organically identify where they don't belong, and the kinds of arcs that are going to be interesting and not mess with the main plot of your story. So you're struggling to come up with action and events to happen to your main group of characters, to drive the plot forwards, things that change things up, things that keep your reader engaged. And I think that you can split the two types of things that can happen to your characters into two different sections. The first group is what is outside of the group's control. Does it rain on the campers? Do they get lost? I mean, they didn't mean to get lost, but no one can read a map. Does the main character receive news of a relative or something that they love that's in distress? What could disrupt the stability of the group? Does someone get sick? Maybe it's a peacekeeper. Does someone fail to do a task, meaning the whole group's mission fails? I don't know what it is. Something outside of the character's control that goes wrong. Could they be attacked? Could they be discovered? Think about your villains and your heroes. Think about your villain's point of view. Are they working against your hero? Are there other people that aren't anything to do with this plot that could discover your heroes and your main characters, and that messes with the plot somehow? So think about things that are outside your main group of characters' control that can go wrong or change. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. Small things can have domino effects, such as, say, they run out of gas and as such they have to walk. So they're all tired, they're hungry and they're grumpy, and that's as such tension starts to rise and drama starts to spill out and arguments are had, and that will disrupt the stability of the group. So the second group is people's decisions, your main character's decisions in the group. They don't always have to be the correct or right decisions. Someone could start questioning why they're doing things. Someone could start questioning other people's motives. Someone could betray the group. Now, it doesn't have to be outright working with the enemy, but maybe they have to ditch their phone so that they can't be tracked, and one person doesn't for personal reasons. That's going to cause a lot of tension and a lot of drama when other people potentially discover this betrayal. And that is something that could be really fun to explore in your novel. Maybe character A is the leader of your group and character B disagrees about leaving the safe house. Character A wants them to stay, character B wants to leave. Now, whatever reason he disagrees, maybe he's got severe claustrophobia, maybe he's trying to avoid an awkward situation, maybe he disobeys character A and he leaves. Think about the things that could come from that. Maybe he accidentally leads people back to them, maybe he gets caught, captured, killed, maybe other people discover where they are. So a lot of different things can come from different people's decisions throughout the group. Maybe they make wrong decisions, bad decisions, but for good reasons, or they think are good reasons at the time. Remember when I mentioned in my last video that exploring all the different possibilities and decisions was important in making sure that you have a really good premise? Well, it's the same for the plot. Think about all the different decisions and thought processes that your characters could have throughout the plot, all of the different things that happen, and explore them. It's easier to recognise what will happen now than later when you've written your 80,000 word novel and you have to go back and completely rewrite scenes, add in chapters, take out half of your book. So it's best to explore all the possibilities now when it's a lot easier to change it. That way you know you're writing about the most engaging possibilities and options for your reader, and will give your book that punch that you're looking for. Another big reason that I'm a huge advocate for plotting, particularly for young and new authors, is because if you think about your reader in the plotting stage, you don't have to particularly think about your reader in the writing stage, and that takes something really big off the plate. You know that your plot is engaging, that people are going to engage and empathise with your characters, and as such you can focus on the wordsmith at task instead of the what's going to happen next part of the task. I've tried pantsing and I've tried plotting, and I think for new writers plotting is a lot easier. As you get more experience and start writing more projects, you may be able to pants your way through something, and if that works for you then great, but personally I believe for people starting out or people with lots of moving pieces in their books like myself, that plotting is a really great tool to make sure that nothing gets missed out, that the reader is engaged, and it makes it a lot easier and quicker process. So that's all from me this week on plotting. I hope you like this video. There will be more plotting videos in the future, but as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I think that characters are the lifeblood of plotting, and as such I think the next few videos will be about character design. So if you want to hear those, please do hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up. If you've got any questions, put them in the comment section or hit me up on any of my social media platforms and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'm HT King and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope you all have a wonderful week and I'll see you then. Bye!